and with our mayors for what is going to be one of the most exciting years in Silicon Valley's history. We will be on the world stage starting in February with the Super Bowl, and then in June with the World Cup. And I can't stress this enough that this is really a stress test for this region in terms of how we will handle this and how this will really truly light the fire for future events and future economic impact here in the Bay Area. This is not just a moment in sports for us here. It's truly a moment of economic impact. It's a moment for community engagement, but also for regional collaboration with all of the cities. And the mayors talked about that in their brief keynotes. So what I'd like to do is have a discussion with our mayors regarding the upcoming games, but also the future of Silicon Valley. So we'll make time for enough questions, and I hope to get some really good answers and some information to be able to provide our audience with some takeaways. So let's go get started, okay? So we're gonna start off really talking about how each city is going to handle and leverage these sporting events for economic benefit. So Lisa, why don't we go ahead and start off with you and talk to me about how you're leveraging the games for economic benefit here in Santa Clara, because this is going to be the middle of all of the sporting action in 2026. But more importantly, how are you going to engage your community? How are you going to engage your small businesses?
Thank you. That's, can you hear me? Yep.
No, yeah, no, your mic is not turned on.
It turns on and off.
You should. You're on.
I'm on?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay. Okay, thank you. That's a great question, and something we've been working on for the past 3 years. So it's, we hosted Super Bowl 50 back in 2016, and there was lessons that we learned from that. What the biggest lesson is that a lot of the activity ended up in San Francisco, and we want to make sure that the activity, regardless of the city, ends up in the South Bay. That's what's most important. So I think what we're trying to do is make sure that we can monetize this event for our businesses and for our community. Not only get our community involved, because what we found that they may not be able to afford to go to the games, but we want to get them involved in a way that they feel like they're part of this big global phenomenon that's happening to us that is just mind-boggling. Santa Clara is carrying the biggest heavy load of the games because we are in charge of all the operations as the owner of Levi Stadium. We are in charge of all the operations and keeping everyone safe and have a wonderful experience here. So what we're doing through our Economic Development Committee is trying to have events in the area. We have night markets and concerts that we're planning. We're planning an event at the stadium just to make sure our public's involved, but also in terms of communication, making sure that our small businesses are going to benefit from this. So it's a little bit challenging. We're operating the stadium, but also to make sure that our businesses are going to benefit from this. That is our focus, really our focus, to make sure that we get a big piece of the pie, unlike what's happened in the past. Now that's Super Bowl. World Cup's a little bit different. In fact, I met with one of our countries, thanks to Deanna Tryon over there from the protocol office. I met with a country yesterday and again tomorrow. They want to have fan festivals around the stadium. They want to be as close to the stadium as possible. So I think we're going to be able to look at that and make sure our businesses are involved in these local fan fests country by country as well. So that's a new aspect of it that we didn't get from Super Bowl. So I think World Cup's going to be a little bit different. But really, we want to make sure the focus is here. That's our #1 priority.
Talk to me a little bit more. Talk to me a little bit more about when you're activating these businesses and engaging your community. What are some of the examples you can cite that Santa Clara wants to bring to the community, whether it's kid zones, whether it's entertainment districts? You talked about the Fan Fest.
So we have right now, and I think Diana Ding's in the room somewhere, we have our night markets. It's the end of January, beginning of February. We have, we're looking at an event at the stadium sometime after the Super Bowl. We're looking at concerts, tournaments for the kids to be able to play soccer and maybe have a final inside Levi Stadium. We're looking at, we have a STEM Bowl planned for the convention center. Super Bowl 50, we had a STEM Bowl in our library, our central library, and 10,000 kids came to the STEM Bowl, and it's all regarding sports. It's focused around sports. So it's going to be in the convention center, and we estimate there may be twice as many kids involved in that. So those are the types of activities that we're looking at.
Okay, Mayor Klein, let's talk to you a little bit about how you're starting to leverage and plan for not only Super Bowl, but World Cup, and how you will engage your community and all the fans, all the visitors that are going to be coming into Silicon Valley.
That mic doesn't work too.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so from a Sunnyvale standpoint, we've already been, working with our downtown core, City Line, Sunnyvale, there we go. City Line Sunnyvale has already been doing like night markets every other week. If you have 20-something children, they're probably coming to downtown Sunnyvale already. And so what we've been doing as far as looking forward to the games is looking how we can basically optimize that relationship, not just downtown. You have Laughing Monk that is partnered with 95.7, that they're actually doing for the games right now, for the football games, doing shuttles to Levi Stadium. So trying to find other ways to either activate their local location or go to our neighbor very close by to get people to those games. So it's those activities which are critical. It's having that, locations, hotels, having new hotels open. I think most of our cities have hotels that are about to open. What we're trying to do is find that partnerships, whether or not it's small businesses or large businesses, help finance them, and at the end of the day, it's also our residents. Sunnyvale, more than 50% of our residents were born outside of the United States, and as much as we might not have had the best draws as far as FIFA is concerned, I do think that I've already heard from residents that are looking forward to those games and how we can activate those residents in our city. So it's and as far as preparation, I think most of our cities nearby, our public safety officers are breathing a little bit sigh of relief on what those draws are, because we might not have as much chaos as might have been. But it is a regional partnership. All of our public safety officers, public safety offices will be online to deal with any issues that are happening during that. So it's making our cities safe. It's activating them accordingly. But at the end of the day, looking forward to the hotel taxes, the sales taxes that all those visitors will bring to our area.
Okay. Mayor Kamei, would you like to add to that?
We're just traveling mic. So in Mountain View, we feel like we're uniquely positioned. We're close enough to Levi Stadium, but we're also easily accessible by transit. So we're the end of the line for the VTA light rail stop, as well as one of the most heavily utilized Caltrain stops. I know Zaylene had to leave, but I think it's unique that's a point that the Bay Area Host Committee decided to have a brick and mortar office in the city of Mountain View because of where we are situated between San Francisco and San Jose. So we're expecting, increased visitation before, during, and after the games. And so what we've decided to do is a coordinated three-prong approach to maximize our economic benefit. So the first thing we're working on is branding and placemaking. The second are city activations. And the third is business promotions and marketing. So when we're talking about branding and placemaking, the city is working on featuring event-themed sidewalk decals, festive decor. We're doing added games and seating and photo-friendly, aka Instagram area, installations to create a lively atmosphere that encourages people to walk, dine, and shop. And when we're talking about city-hosted events, we may include like a Super Bowl weekend activation, World Cup watch parties, and that's the whole goal is to bring people downtown and promote our local restaurants, cafes, and retailers. So maybe on their way to Fan Fest or on their way to a game, they'll come through Mountain View, where we'll be able to have them grab a bite and then get on local transit. And in partnership with our Mountain View Chamber of Commerce, we're trying to provide tools to our businesses on how they might be able to capitalize on the economic growth as they maybe try to do a watch party, special offers. We've been talking about doing a passport. Maybe you've been to one of our events where we do like a wine walk and others. So maybe we're trying to think of like a passport around the world where we'd have certain discounts and other themed experiences. And trying to make sure that our city is pushing that out on all our communications. We have a whole communications department. So our hope is that we're just gonna maximize increased foot traffic, strengthen our small business ecosystem, and generate that additional hotel and sales tax.
Great, thank you, Mayor. Mayor Liang, you want to go ahead and add to that what your plans are for 2026?
Hello? Okay, great. So I would say Cupertino, we have not really started the planning for that. However, we did have our restaurant week and then the shop local initiative. I look forward that we will take advantage of the games to develop a forward-looking plan to really brand Cupertino and also utilizing the TV show. I think the One Silicon Valley is a really good vision that we are one and we each have our own different brand. And Cupertino, recently we have more and more diverse restaurants in Cupertino, different India restaurant and Chinese. We will have a new snack shop, Dodo Snack will be opening shop from Southern California. So we will help the business, we are looking into already creating a map. We already have a map on the city website and how we can help them promote. Yeah, okay.
Great, thank you.
But I think I envy that in Sunnyvale, they have a downtown association that hosts a lot of events. So I'm hoping with the Economic Development Committee can help foster this kind of community organization. If they want to host event, I think our staff would be committed to support any community initiative to host watch parties.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Montano.
Thank you. It's beginning to look like Super Bowl. Milpitas, we know how to throw a party. We really do. So, so one of the things that we're doing, well, several things that we're doing that I was going to mention it up there, but this is the right thing right here. So we're going to light up City Hall, community and tourist celebration, lighting up at City Hall with FIFA colors. We'll be offering music, face painting, and other fun events at the Civic campus. We're going to have a taste of Milpitas as part of lighting up City Hall. Milpitas will invite local restaurants to offer a taste of Milpitas style. So we're doing a lot of great things. We're also a newly designed taste of Milpitas logo and logo sway will be given away. And also, as I mentioned before, where's Mayor Montano during the FIFA games. So I will be I'll be on live stream and on our social media and follow to promote activities and restaurants. Also, we have our smart shuttle. This will take people all over the city. So we also have digital advertising. San Jose City Airport, we will be purchasing digital advertisements, promoting Milpitas and things to do while the visitors stay. We'll also have a Milpitas brochure. We have developed a glossy brochure that features things to do in Milpitas. It will be available at the airports, hotels, restaurants, etc. And for our small business promotion, the brochure has a QR code that links visitors to restaurants in Milpitas. Yeah, we got it down. We're gonna get.
It sounds
we're
like
gonna
it.
bring
Sounds
those
like you
people
had
on.
a-
But remember,
You're ready.
we want a piece of that pie.
I need to steal that playbook.
Yeah. You two should get together then, okay?
Yeah. No, we're here to share.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, right on.
Regional collaboration, that's right.
Thank you, yes.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next question that I have, which is, and I want to direct this to you, Mayor Gillmor, is how are you handling the influx of increased traffic on the streets during not only Super Bowl, but also the World Cup? And talk to us about your thoughts of public safety and security during these events.
Okay, we'll start on the traffic issue. That is something we're working on now. We do have a shuttle that we share with Cupertino, and we've expanded that. Interesting statistics about the shuttle. It's our high school students are using it more than anyone. It's unbelievable, the number of students that are using it. So we're expanding that system. We're working on, the wonderful thing about Levi's Stadium is that it has really great transportation and road pattern in and out of the stadium, although if you're stuck in traffic after a game, you may not feel that way. But the fact is that there's so many ways to get there, and we're working on that now. We're making sure that we're working with VTA to make sure that the trains and the light rail is going to work for us. They're actually, because of the security reasons, you're not going to be able to go directly to the stadium. You're going to have to stop at some of the stops right before the stadium. So we're working to make sure that it's a smooth, in and out. At least we're working on Super Bowl now. World Cup is a little bit different. It's going to be different patterns for different days. One game is at noon. The others are in the morning at 9 a.m. and there's one at night at 7 o'clock. So I think that'll help with the commute there. Public safety is our big issue. We want to make sure that whoever comes to Levi Stadium, that they're safe, they feel secure, and they have a wonderful fan experience at Levi Stadium and a visitor's experience. The world has changed. Things have gotten so scary. And our police department, which is the lead law enforcement agency for Levi Stadium, is working around the clock and working with our state, our local, and our federal partners. We're threatened every now and then. ICE is coming, and this is happening, and games are being pulled, and I have to say that we are just leading the boat. We're leading it with a steady hand. That we know what the situation is. Our police department is right on top of it. We want to make sure when you come to Santa Clara and you're at a fan fest or an event or you're attending the games that you're safe. Above anything else, that's our number one priority.
Thank you. Mayor Klein, why don't you go ahead and add anything? Is that one working?
Yeah, so being basically right next to Santa Clara, traffic I think is the big question, especially resident concerns living so close to the stadium, and especially not as much for Super Bowl. Super Bowl is kind of an extended football game. FIFA will be affecting the whole region. Especially, it's one thing to have a game on the weekend, but a Tuesday afternoon game is going to really affect a lot of our businesses across the valley. What that means for traffic, what that means for security becomes a big question. Thankfully we have that mutual aid. It's all of our cities working together to support these efforts. It's trying to make sure that the region is safe. For me, it's dealing with our new emergency operations center that we just opened 2 years ago. It's trying to make sure that everyone is prepared, and I think continuing that safety, we're all ready.
Okay, great. I want to move on to our final question so we can move on to our next panel. What legacy do you want these major events to leave behind? What do you see as the takeaway for the future? How do we continue this forward after these events? Mayor Kamei?
Okay. So I think one of the things that for every topic that you've brought up today, Tom, all of us on this stage are working and coordinating on. So whether it's transportation and working with our regional partners like Caltrain and BTA to create timetables and some expectations on how people can get around our community. I think our legacy will be just how this region was able to shine and to flourish. And I think this panel, these discussions, the One Silicon Valley that Harbir mentioned, is a really great takeaway for all of us and all of our communities. I mean, secondly, it'd be great for them to know the names of our cities, right? But I think that's one of the things. The 9-county Bay Area is an economic driver. I'm trying to remember the stat that I heard yesterday when I was in a county convening, but of the 40, our economy in the 9-county Bay Area is larger than the 45 of the 50 states. And I think that statistic that our county executive shared with us yesterday really just shows the lasting legacy that we can have, and how all of our cities are coming up with these different engagement plans showing how we have economic vitality and vibrancy. I think will be a legacy for those visitors, but also hopefully for all of you in this room maybe who own a business or are involved in the business community, about how we're able to make even deeper partnerships for all of you. It's also a great way to talk about innovation. We're in Silicon Valley, we talk about innovation, but we can pilot, new placemaking tools, different things that may have long-term great economic impacts for our downtown that will keep post these events. And I think lastly, how we're a welcoming community. I think this region, our diversity is what makes us so incredible, and hopefully that will be the legacy that we'll be able to leave behind.
Great, Mayor Gillmor, what are your